Ed here with a Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick unboxing and first look at the Sony PS4 Pro. This is priced at $399.99 and launched in the US on November 10th, 2016. And for those of you who follow my channel, you know I've been displaced by Hurricane Matthew, which means my custom-made as well as upgraded main gear system based around a Titan X Pascal GPU is out of commission. It was destroyed. So here I am with the next best thing, at least until I get another desktop beast in play, and that is a 4K capable console. And I know you may be telling yourself, well, you could pick up an Xbox One S, the refresh, and that'll give you 4K capability, but it will only give you 4K capability if you're after playing UHD Blu-ray discs. So if you want to watch movies, that's a great value, but if you care about 4K gaming, it's pretty much crap, which is why I haven't shared it with any of you and why I'm not purchasing one, even for the value of the 4K UHD player. And I have had 4K TVs now for quite a while. Those of you that follow my channel know I've been filming in 4K since it was first available at the consumer level, so that's like 2013-ish, I think. So there's no question I've had 4K TVs displays to match that, even when they were incredibly expensive. But let me go ahead and get this thing out of the box. It is bigger than the original PS4, and that's because the hardware in here has been substantially upgraded. Now, this isn't a new generation of console. It is a mid-gen refresh, but still, nonetheless, it represents a big step in the console industry, and that's because you're now looking at a console that actually can output 4K gaming. Whether it's upscaled, that really depends on the developer in terms of what they do with their games and optimization. But at the end of the day, unlike the Xbox One S, you are looking at a true 4K gaming experience. So let's see which way I got to go with this. Bring it around here. Pretty generic, sterile white box. I've got matching sleeves, apparently. And here we go. Now again, I generally am not a tremendous fan of console systems. I mean, they have their place, even when you're a PC gamer like myself, because if you like to play sports games, here's some quick start guide. Anybody who plays, games like Madden 2K, that's NBA 2K, or even soccer games, football for those of you outside of the US, you can't really do that on a PC, and that's a sad but, true reality. So I do still have a place for this. I'm not saying that, I'm only going to be playing sports games on it, because I won't. As you know, I don't have any other mode of gaming right now. Excuse the monopod bumping around. But this still will serve to be, I think, the best console option in the near future. Now, Microsoft will have a real update eventually. Some more paperwork. But that update is not slated to come out till next year. And even though it will more than double the performance of what this console is capable of, again, we're talking about sometime next year. Inside the box, let's go over what we've got here. We have what appears to be part of, well, that is just like with the PS4, your earpiece and microphone for online gaming. We have the power connector. We have a USB connector for charging the controller, and then I presume the controller is right here. Now, as I mentioned before, some games will be upconverted, but if you're at all invested in the PS4 ecosystem, exclusive titles, that's where you're going to benefit from this. A lot of my buddies are big on PS4 exclusive titles. I am not as much as heavily invested, but nonetheless, again, the appeal of having true 4K gaming out of a console in your living room rather than necessarily where you're going to set up a 4K gaming PC. There's your HDMI 2.0 compatible cable for 4K, your included controller. Nothing really new to be said there, but I'm due a new one. My old ones were pretty worn out. Forget about that, my PS4 was also destroyed, so that comes into play too. But here we have it as I let it slam. In terms of graphical performance, I mentioned this is a larger console, and that's because the GPU was beefed up. I think it's 4.2 teraflops. Again, the Microsoft console that will come out in the future will end up delivering, again, more than double. It'll be like 11, but a year away. By then, who knows? We'll probably be interested in 8K. So the point is, Sony's striking while things are hot. Do I wish that they would have integrated a UHD 4K Blu-ray player? Of course, it would have made perfect sense. But remember, Sony is one of the companies out there that does stand to benefit from selling dedicated UHD 4K Blu-ray players, unlike Microsoft, who is not a consumer electronics manufacturer like Sony. So, unlike what they did with, the PS3, making Blu-ray affordable and really making it mainstream, they didn't feel they needed to, and they didn't need to take the risk, and I understand where they're coming from. So while I would have loved to have seen a UHD 4K Blu-ray player in here, I really do care more as a gamer about true 4K gaming, which, again, not every title will be true 4K. A lot of them will be upscaled, but that still is unmatched by any other console or platform other than the personal computer, which I have been relying on now to game in 4K for a couple of years and have been doing so happily, but with the most expensive GPUs that money can buy. So here now at $400, you have a very good option to get, true 4K gaming without breaking the bank. And you can see back there the HDMI port, the power supply input, or rather connection right there, as well as optical out, USB, Ethernet for hardwiring your internet access. 1 terabyte of internal storage on here. If I didn't mention that at the beginning, forgive me. 2 USB ports at the front. You can see that right there. Your disk input, where it's always been, right under the Sony logo. Still touch-sensitive buttons, I believe. And that pretty much sums things up. That very similar look, not really a redesign. That's what the Slim and the Mini are all about. But called the Pro for a reason. If you're interested in 4K gaming, you now do not need to own a PC to do so. You just have to pick up a console like this. Of course, I'll put it through its paces, see what kind of performance I get out of it, and how well it handles different games. I'm going to have some time to do that because, as I mentioned before, I don't have PC capability that I once did. So again, not everybody's affected by a hurricane and needs to end up with a PS4 Pro like myself, but for those of you who aren't going to run out and buy or build a $2,000 or $3,000 computer, this makes perfect sense, which I think is why Sony went the route they did and is, essentially appealing to what they always have, gamers, not people who want to watch movies, which is what Microsoft has done as a midterm money grab. So I appreciate what Sony's done here, not as a fanboy, because anyone who watches my channel knows when it comes to consoles, no fanboy here. Not that I'm saying I am in other departments, but definitely not with consoles. Not a big fan. But Sony's done the right thing by giving us a hardware upgrade rather than a cosmetic makeover. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.